Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630. WMAL.
It is 7:07, and this is July 1st, the day after 6:30 day. We really enjoyed meeting some of the people who are a part of the Morning Majority last night in the flesh. It was a great time.
Well, they had clothes on, but
yeah,
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those parties.
No, it wasn't that kind of party, and sadly there was no shrimp, but I digress.
Right.
Hey, listen, Michael Steele is on the line. He's former lieutenant governor of the great state of Maryland. He is also a guy with whom I've spent, I don't know, maybe hundreds of hours of live time doing live television over the years. How are you, Michael?
I am great. How's it going?
A long time. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's good to hear your voice. Yeah.
You sound good.
Well, thank you.
You sound like you haven't aged a bit.
Sadly, that is not true. Hey, listen, there is a battle, a showdown of epic proportions that is developing in this town that will have wide-ranging implications for the entire nation. On one side, you have Democrats who say that we need to raise taxes.
Right.
On the other side, you have Republicans who say, no, what we need to do is cut spending. Both sides seem to be deeply entrenched, neither side willing to budge or compromise. How do you see this thing playing out?
Hey, man, I've had my popcorn for a while watching this whole thing unfold, and it's amazing that a lot of people don't recognize it because they haven't really seen it in Washington a long time. This is really an argument over principle. It's an argument over philosophy. It's not just the politics of it, which, you know, can be pretty raw and unforgiving. But these people who are engaged in this thing, whether it's the president or the Speaker of the House or individual members of Congress, each bring a philosophical perspective of what the role of government should be at a time like this. The president and a lot of the leadership on the left view the government as part of the salvation tool. It is an instrument to be used to carve out, shovel-ready jobs and to be able to create an environment in which more people give. I mean, shared sacrifice. Whereas Republicans are looking at this saying, yeah, there's this sense of shared sacrifice, but we've already sacrificed a lot. When you look at the level of taxation on corporations, on individuals, the pressures on private sectors, in a good economy to create jobs, the toughness now should be one in which we let them ride this out, let them lead us out.
But
and
ultimately,
that's a very interesting battle to watch.
Ultimately, though, don't you think that American people are going to feel generally that they are not undertaxed? I mean, I don't know many Americans who feel like they pay too little in taxes. Apparently, Lanny Davis is the only human being on the planet who apparently feels this way that I know.
And for those people, I say send in an extra check.
That's right. Yeah. Get your checkbook out. Get busy.
Yeah, I think you're right. People won't feel that, and you see it reflected in the polls, which is why you see the shifting going on in terms of the argument that's being made, even in the president's press conference the other day. Trying to pick on, those guys who have those big corporate jets. Well, the president's got the biggest corporate jet of all.
He sure does.
And the reality of it is people aren't relating to the argument that way. They get how and why wealth is created in the country. What they want to know now is, in order to create prosperity, what are you willing to do to allow that to occur? Is it really taking more money out of my pocket, or is it allowing me to take what I do have now and invest it in a way that will jumpstart the economy?
Now, you just became an MSNBC contributor. That was your big announcement recently.
Miss Catherine.
Yes, this is Mary Catherine. How you doing?
Favorite. I love her.
So, did you get to watch your fellow MSNBC contributor, Mr. Mark Halperin, yesterday morning sort of step in it?
Step all in it. And the thing about that, you sit there, you go, you're scratching your head, you go, okay, this is live television, and, the Morning Joe show is a pretty sophisticated show. And he went ahead with it anyway. Yeah, I was really stunned, and I think it also speaks to the new attitude that's come to MSNBC since Comcast has moved in, and there's zero tolerance now, and they're really. I was surprised and very pleased to see them respond the way they did, but I was even more surprised to see Mark just kind of put both feet sideways into his mouth on that one.
But you agree with the suspension?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the comment. Look, I don't care what you say. At the end of the day, the President of the United States, particularly when you're in a position like a Mark Halperin and some others have found themselves recently, you have to give him due respect, and to use that kind of language and to refer to the president that way. It's not even bad form. It's just unprofessional, and it just takes away from your legitimacy to convey to the American people the news, or to give them a sense of how this political actor is acting when you feel that way about him.
Looking at the Republican field right now, Michelle Bachmann obviously rising in the polls. When do you think it's worth our time to actually look at the polls to say, okay, now we're getting close where these polls actually matter? Or do you think they matter right now?
No, they don't matter right now. It's a waste of time. It's a lot of money being made by vendors who are hawking that stuff. Because people's attitudes have not begun to set yet. You've only got, at best, and Mary Catherine can tell you this, probably 27% of the population, voting population, even looking at these candidates and looking at this presidential process. A lot of stuff is going to jumpstart and kick off with the Ames convention or meeting in August. With the big poll there. It's a good poll. It's sort of a placeholder poll to let you know where we're really starting this race.
So like a guy like Tim Pawlenty shouldn't be too worried right now?
No. What Tim Pawlenty needs to worry about is whether he's going to man up and go after Obama. I mean, that's the bottom line. You cannot half-step it in this game. You cannot sit back not Obama, Mitt Romney. You can't sit back and take your shots selectively. You've got to be on every time, because every moment you're in front of the camera, particularly with your opponent standing next to you, is a moment in which you're defining yourself to the voters, and they're making a decision about you. And if they see you blink that way, doesn't help.
Of course, you could be John Huntsman and no step it. He's not going to attack anyone, apparently. I wanted to ask you. You know a little bit about fundraising, and the fundraising numbers. The quarterly numbers are going to come out. It's going to be the first sort of big indication of where some of the campaigns stand in that way. Barack Obama doing a huge push online last night, hitting it up to midnight because they're trying to get sort of a pretty good number. What do you think? There's anything surprising we'll see about his numbers in particular?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think that, the president set the bar. We're going to raise $1 billion on that side of the equation. On the Republican side, I think you're looking at, Romney is clearly the guy who's got the biggest wallet, and he's trying to show that he doesn't have to spend out of his own wallet in order to juice up his numbers. I think he's going to show strong numbers. Obviously, the question then becomes, where does a Michelle Bachmann and a Huntsman and some others come into place? And they've come in late, so their numbers aren't going to be necessarily that big. I think looking at the numbers right now, again, very much like looking at the polls, is an exercise in Washington, fun and games. Right. It doesn't really mean too much at the beginning of the summer of 2011. Now, if this was the summer of 2012,
then we got an issue.
Hey,
we're talking.
Let me ask you a local question quickly. I know you're, as a resident of Prince George's County, Leslie Johnson pleading guilty yesterday, but not resigning at this point.
Well, Democrats get away with stuff like that, don't they?
But it's like, if she doesn't, apparently she doesn't have to resign until the sentencing, which isn't until October, which means she'll make $28,000 from the taxpayers for her job.
And every damn dime should be reimbursed to the people of this county, particularly at a time like this. If you violate the public trust, even if you're not an elected official, but the spouse of an elected official, then you are held to the same standard as that spouse. And the reality of it is, pay it back. She should step down and resign and allow the seat to be filled, allow the county to move on from their greed and their avarice and their incompetence, and let us pick ourselves up and not have to pay yet again for bad government.
All right, Michael, always good to have you on the program. Good to hear you again.
All right, guys, take care. It's good to hear your voices.
Michael Steele.
Bye-bye, Michael.
Former head of the RNC, Lieutenant Governor.